Hello YouTube world, it is Liam, the Deaf Doom Metalhead, and today is a collection update. I haven't done one of these in a few weeks, and these are all either 2023 releases, 2022, or I think there's a few older ones in there somewhere as well. So yeah, it's a mixture of CDs and a tape today, but before I go into this collection update, I will let you all know, a bit of self-promo here, that my band Consecration's debut full-length album, Ephemerality, has been re-released on Cavernous Records here in the UK. This was put out, oh fucking hell, maybe 2014, maybe a year before that, I can't really remember, on a different UK label, but that's been out of print for many, many years. So we brought it back with new artwork done by our vocalist Dan. He's got a thing for tits and clocks and, you know, grayscale and stuff like that. So he's carried on with that for this one, so all three of our, I think, previous releases now kind of fit in artwork wise. And yeah, this is probably very much a death metal orientated, it's death doom, but it's certainly more in a death metal. There's blast beats, there's everything on this. And then the one after this one, Fragilium, is when we were all miserable and we tried to write a Funeral Doom album. So if you like your death metal, and it's got the HM2 pedal on this one I was using back then, so you've got that kind of dirty and tuned guitar tone in there as well. And that is the only Consecration album to have that tone as well. So yeah, we've got 8 tracks of very long songs. But we still play a couple of these live today, to be fair, in the set list we were going to do for our festival run we were planning to do. 2 of the songs off this are on there. So yeah, go check it out. Go support Chris at Cavernous Records. He's a fucking legend as well. And he will be mentioned in another album later on in the video. So yeah, I'll leave a link to the Bandcamp below and to the Cavernous Records website as well, so you can check it there as well. Yeah. Right, you may hear it in the background, you may not, I don't know, I might turn it up a little bit so you can get a little snippet of this. Probably one of my favourite Doom Death albums this year, and I've listened to this, before I even bought it, I streamed it a fuck ton, and I mean loads, just to make sure I wanted it, even though I knew I did, because I've got the EP, and this is Germany's Voidhaven, with their debut full-length, Lithic. This was put out through Ardua Music, which I think is a Spanish label. Now, this is 6 tracks, about 52 minutes long, maybe 53 minutes of just solid Doom Death. I'll turn that down a bit. So the reason I love this band so much is it features members from bands like Funeral Fuck, who you all know I love very, very much. Ophis, which is a fantastic Doom Death band. And I think there's also Remembrance band in there. Now I believe this used to be a band called Crimson Swan, which was majority of the members were of that band, and then they changed or something happened. So they decided to form Voidhaven. And it's got Simon on vocals, who's the singer in Funeral Fuck, and you know in that band he's got a very epic voice, and he does that on this album, but he also does the death growl stuff as well, and you get this really nice blend. It's really thick, heavy, the melodies on it are gorgeous. Just because if you're a fan of Ophis and Funeral Fuck, you already know you're going to like this. Comes a nice little digipack there with the lyrics and stuff like that, but I will turn that up a little bit. But yeah, this is genuinely amazing, so please check it out. This is such a solid album from start to finish. There's not a bad word to say about it, on my behalf anyway. You may think it's a load of shite, but I tell you, you're dead wrong. This is so good. So yeah, go check that out. Some Voidhaven. That's a fantastic album. Now this one was sent to me by the chap behind this project. This is an American band, and this is more in a vein of solid traditional Doom. You could say epic Doom as well, with the vocalist involved. And it's quite proggy and progressive in some parts as well. And I'll try and pronounce it properly, but I probably won't. It's called DiGelsomina, but I butchered that name. But this is called, it's even hard to pronounce, Sic Iter ad Astra, whatever the hell that means. Now this, I believe, is a self-released by a chap called Andy, who's the mastermind behind the whole project. And it features Robert Lowe, if you know him, on vocals through the whole album. Robert Lowe obviously been in Solitude Eternus, Candlemass. He's on every other Epic Doom album that comes out, like Grief Collector, Tyrant. He's done shitloads of work recently. So they reached out to me to check out this band and this project, and I was like, hell yeah, I'll happily do that, because anything with Rob Lowe is normally something I want to hear, because he is one of my favourite vocalists in the metal world. And this is an interesting one. So this is a 2023 release. And it's not an easy listen, because it's quite progressive, and I'm not a proggy guy in any way, because I'm not that intelligent, but Rob sounds really good on this. It's got a very much traditional Doom vibe to it. It's got some kind of, if you ever remember the project Last Chapter that he did, Robert Lowe that is. It sounds awful lot like that, where it's got heavy doom influences with the epicness. There's lots of shreddy guitar, but then it has these weird progressive elements to kind of give it that kind of different feel to it, like King Crimson kind of vibes, stuff like that. And it's a good listen. It's challenging because it's not simple like just big power chords and that kind of thing. There's more to it than that. There's a lot of guitar work going on, and I really enjoyed it. After the third listen, it kind of clicked a lot more. So you've got Andy there, who's behind the whole thing, who kindly sent me the album to check out. And then you've got, I think there's a picture of him in here. Yeah, there he is there. Mr. Robert Lowe on vocals. So yeah, it's a really good. Rob sounds fantastic on it. He's not the youngest chap anymore, but he still can belt out those notes. So it's cool to hear. And I was pleasantly surprised by this because I had no idea what to expect. I know Rob had done a like spoken word album, and I was assuming that's what this was, but it's not. This is solid, traditional kind of doom with the epic vibes in there, progressive stuff. So yeah, go check it out. I'll leave a link below so you can find it. And yeah, awesome. I'll chuck that over here. Now this one, this blew my fucking mind. It generally did, and it is some of the best black metal I've heard this year at the moment. There's a few other ones I may or may not kind of put above this one, but at the moment this sits king at the moment. It's solid, and that is the latest from Dratna. This is called Fumas or something like that, which was put out this year by Fire Productions, I believe it is the name of the label, which is an American label. Now this is a Irish band based out of Belfast, formed in 2018 by a chap called Andrew McKenna. So I think it's Northern Ireland, Belfast, isn't it? And there is the cassette there. And I mean, he's an amazing musician, generally is. Now he does everything on this. This is a solo project by him, all done by him, and is incredible. It's atmospheric black metal, but there's a lot of folk and traditional elements into it, and where he lives you kind of get an idea where he's bringing all his influences from, and it's just incredible. It's got these gorgeous tones on it. He's done such a good job on the production. Everything is crystal clear. The clean sections are amazing. They're really beautiful, really come through really clear. Everything fits in with the theme of the album. And then when he does the black metal parts, it's really harsh, it's blasty, but it's got some fantastic riffs. Everything again is audible. There's none of that kind of sock over the amp tone or nothing like that. It's proper, you know, modern day recorded black metal done in a way where the music makes sense. It's got a direction to it. Each riff is meaningful. It's not just stuck in there. It's all there for a purpose. And it's just fucking incredible. Like, genuinely, I can't recommend this enough. But it's not an easy find. I probably would imagine it's easier to get over from the label in the States than it is to get over here. It's not widely distributed or nothing like that, which is a shame because it should do. It should be on a nothing against the label or anything, but it should be on a massive label to me, like a proper worldwide one. Because some of the bands that churn out albums from this kind of genre are just, yeah, they're okay. But this really stands out. And I kind of guess with a smaller label it makes it more special, you could say, as well. So yeah, loving that. That is so good. So yeah, Andrew, you're a fucking legend for sorting me out a copy of that. That is one of my favourites of the year, easily. So yeah, go check it out. Now, I love Finnish death metal. You probably love Finnish death metal as well. So you should probably check out Sadistic Drive. This is the album, what's it called? Perpetual Torture, which came out back in 2022. I'm trying to be all slang then. This is their second full length from these Finnish chaps. And this is a self-made god one. I think there is another label, Headsplit Records maybe, or something like that in the States, did a vinyl version of this. But this is this Polish label's CD version, or the European version you could call it. And this is fucking awesome as well. No nonsense, solid, horrible underground death metal. When you got songs like Fuck to Shreds, what we got, Hooker Street Strangler, you know what you're gonna get. You know, proper nasty death metal. Has the drummer from Morbific in it as well, if you want to name drop a band. I love that cover artwork. I imagine Mark was the guy who showed this. I swear he showed it on vinyl ages ago, and it completely got my interest. And then Anthony did it as well. All the usual YouTubers that have got there way before I have, and this is fantastic. I love this so much. So yeah, go give this a spin if you haven't, because it's proper nasty, horrible, and really heavy. Now this is another one, and I was talking about the Dratner one. This is another album that's kind of pushed the black metal, what album is, but this isn't really black metal to me. This is it's categorized as doom metal with a black metal influence, but to me this is more of a death doom album with a black metal drumming in it, with some kind of black metal melodies. And that is Chilean band Winds of Tragedy with the album Hating Life. Now this came out on Muse Music and Tragedy Productions this year, and I believe this is his second full length from this project. Yeah, so this is another one-man project from a guy called Sergio, which he formed in 2021, and this is the second one for 2023. There's another one prior to this that I could never get hold of because he's an amazing musician. He also has a doom death band as well as this, so he has two projects, and they are very similar, but this project has the black metal drumming and the black metal angst and kind of melodies in it with the music, so you kind of get that wicked blend of doom death or death doom with black metal, and it works really, really well. Now, but the vocals are straight up guttural death metal style in that Chilean style, so I really, really like that. The cover is amazing as well. It just lured me in instantly for obvious reasons. We like our women. Yeah, I mean, this is just hard. It's just brutal. I mean, the guitar tone is a death metal guitar tone as well, and the drumming is full-on black metal style, but it's got that death metal edge to it. Digipack looks like this. I don't know what the CD is in there. I've had this on in the car a lot, so I assumed I left it in the car then. So yeah, really, really solid album. Every track is killer. I really, really like this as well, and it's a hard one to ignore because when I put it on, I knew I was going to like it, but it really, really took me, and it completely kept me engaged throughout the whole album. So yeah, Winds of Tragedy, Hating Life, another solid, solid album for this year. Sticking with Chile. This is another amazing band, and again I have to thank Mark for reminding me to pick this up because I completely forgot to do that. And that is Inanna with their latest Void of Unending Depths. This came out last year via Memento Mori, and I think a Greek label did the vinyl, but I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Floga Records, that's the one. So this is some kind of the progressive death metal band, I would say they're that, but they kind of have this weird kind of style where it kind of goes off into kind of a spiritual world kind of vibe, where it's like, you know, you're on a planes going off into some random kind of sky plane. I don't know how to describe it. I'm really crap at describing things, but it's got a kind of weird trippy vibe to it, and it's like that kind of death metal band where they play really unusual riffs and harmonies and leads, and it doesn't sound like any other death metal band to me. The vocals obviously are very guttural Chilean style. It has that South American anger to it, which I really like. That's the insides there. But I mean, this band can do no wrong to me. I've got all three of their full lengths now. I've got the first one on cassette and then the next two on CD, and they're absolutely brilliant. And bands you can never get bored of, because you can listen to this about 4 or 5 times and you'll still find little riffs and harmonies you forget, and you can pick out little bits here and there. They're a really solid band, really tight musicians, and yeah, it's a fucking amazing album, so go check it out. Right, 2 more and then I'll leave you alone. So this one completely threw me because it's a UK band and I knew of them, and I've been spoken to about them a few times over the years with Consecration about gigging with these guys, and it never materialised. And that is the band The River, which is a London-based band, and this is their 2023 released A Hollow Full of Hope. Now, when I remember this band, they formed in the late 90s and they've been going ever since. They have former members of Warning, 40 Watt Sun, in that kind of ballpark. I think the drummer is the guy from those two bands. And then you've got Galore God, if you remember them. I do have that back there somewhere, that LP of that. And their vocalist in that band was in this band originally, but since then it's always been a female-fronted band. But they were always a heavy doom band, like really heavy guitar tones with female kind of drony vocals, kind of give it that kind of, I don't know, trippy vibe to it, you know. It's kind of, it wasn't barked at you or nothing like that. Really beautifully sung vocals, but with really heavy guitars, big loud bass, you know, like solid doom. Kind of like if you put female vocals on a Electric Wizard album, say, that kind of vibe. But this, nothing like that whatsoever. And I made the mistake of putting this on in the car when I was in a rush to work, and by the time I got to work I felt more tired and more relaxed than I did when I went to go to work, because I put albums on in the car and I wanted to wake me up, get me geared up for the day, put me in the mood, and I assumed this would do that, and it did the total opposite. It zened me right out. It's so chilled out, it's ridiculous. And that's not a bad thing, but when you're expecting heavy guitars, you ain't getting none of that. It's the first track's probably the most energetic one maybe of the whole album, but this is fucking really miserable but very mellow, very beautiful, very chilled out music, and it's great. But you've got to make sure when you want that music you put that on, because if you don't you're going to struggle for the rest of the day. I had to have like 2 cups of coffee to kind of wake back up again, because this really did chill me out. It's proper relaxing music, great to go to sleep with as well, which I do a lot musically as well. But yeah, this was actually really, really good. I mean, it surprised me more because it's on Cavernous Records, and Chris is known for his brutal death metal. I mean, we're on there, so I wasn't expecting this to be so mellow, which is not a bad thing because it's nice to branch out and do different things. So yeah, don't take this as a negative review at all, because it really isn't. 'Cause it is a very interesting album, but it is a mega chilled out album. So yeah, if you've got a hammock, go buy this, go put it on, and you'll tell me you fell asleep within 5 minutes because it's so relaxing. So yeah, The River with A Hollow Full of Hope. That came out this year as well, by the way. And the last one is another bizarre doom band that I don't know why I got into this so much, but I did, and I ended up picking it up. This is an American instrumental doom band, so there's no vocals on this, called, but you can't, it's not actually written anywhere. I suppose it's written there you go. So this is Thumos with Symposium. Now the digipack is really weird. So this is the front cover, and then you open it up, you get this cover here, and you go inside, you've got this gorgeous bit of artwork here. I don't think that opened. And then you've got some more artwork there with the track titles, and then the CD's inserted there, which is kind of annoying. And there's the artwork there. Now, I think it's like 5 or 6 albums from this band, and they're labelled as post-doom, so it's got that kind of weird modern clean kind of style in the doom, but with heavy guitars, big riffs, lots of bass. And they're an instrumental band. They formed in the US in 2018. This is their second full length from 2023. I think they have a load of EPs as well dotted around. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one to describe because it is purely just music. It's just heavy, doomy music with a kind of post-metal kind of vibe to it, where it's very clean. There's loads of nice little picked out chords, lush harmonies, that kind of thing, with over the top of the really heavy doom riffs. And like I say, it's got a big fat bass tone on it. So yeah, it's an unusual one. So I like it a lot, and but again, this is another one I chill out to. It's not something, I would say is a strictly metal album. It is doom metal, but it's not as intense or as heavy as you would think. But I'll leave a link below, and you can tell me what you think of it, because I haven't heard anyone ever talk about this band. So it's well worth checking out. So yeah, that is the end of this video. If you did like the video, please like the video to let YouTube know I'm alright, and if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I will put content above my head. Also, I'll leave links to Bandcamp to pimp my band out, and you can maybe consider buying the debut full length for your enjoyment. And until then, I'll speak to you guys in the comment section. Cheers.